Hello, everybody. My name is Andres Kostiv. I'm a user experience designer from YDT Estonia. I'm actually involved in overseeing the areas of service design in YDT Estonia, user experience design, and also the user interface design. So a few words about the practicalities. Today, when I'm going to talk about AI, I'm not going to talk about Adobe Illustrator. So I will be AIing a lot in this presentation, like true AI ninja. But first things first, just let's settle this holistic picture of today's GAM. So first holistic picture of today's, around today's topic. So celebrated design guru, Donald Norman, who is like a father of UX, so to say, with Steve Krug, put it best in 1990 when he said, the real problem with the interface is that the interface is the interface. So interfaces get in the way. So I don't want to focus my energies on the interface, he said. I want to focus on my job. I have a job to do. I don't want to think myself using a computer or a smart speaker or whatever trend is going on right now. I want to think myself as doing my job. So I need a tool which doesn't get in my way. So these words were from the 1990, and when I'm designing for my customers and helping to make the world better, I'm thinking over these words always. So a few words about the past. I remember it was around 2013 or even a little bit earlier, the Photoshop CC came out with a healing tool. So it was super easy for everybody to do improvement of the, let's say, skin quality of pictures, of human skin quality of the pictures, smooth skins. It was really convenient and easy to do. So for me, it was really wow, like how it's really easy right now. So this was almost 5 years ago. Then the years came by. Another Apple event, of course, with iPad Air was released, and then I saw the first time that they are putting some, let's say, some algorithms and artificial intelligence on the tablets when designing something. So here is the short video, which shows what was in around 2015, 3 years ago. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. After 2 years of work, we are really excited to show you the new Pixelmator for iPad today. It's a full-featured image editing app. We are going to open a 4K image of the Arabian Desert. It's really exciting that we can work so smoothly with large images like this. The new iPad handles those images faster and better than ever before. We created a graphic by using the shadow of the actual oryx in the sand and some text, which we'll bring in as a new layer. I'd like to place it here at the bottom, but I see there is a straggler oryx that would interfere with the graphic. So let's remove the oryx right now. We were able to bring our repair tool from our award-winning Mac version to the iPad, and it works fantastic. By simply brushing over the oryx, our app will take care of removing it, but still maintain the background. That is 2 times faster on the new iPad compared to iPad Air. Notice how the texture in the sand is intact even though the oryx is gone. Let's place the graphic back at the bottom and size it to fit. Now, let's blend the graphic with the background to complement the color of the sand. Next, I'd like to apply a filter to enhance the color and darken the edges a bit. We can adjust the depth and strength of the effect. Notice the very fast response time. So that's a quick peek of Pixelmator for iPad coming later this month in the App Store. The power of the new iPad is perfect for the new Pixelmator. We've seen improvement of up to 3 times in many aspects of the app. It's a fantastic pairing that would make image editing a breeze. Thank you.
So these were a couple of Lithuanian guys who made the Pixelmator, and shortly the Lithuanian guys made this, and you probably know that after 1 year or so, Adobe came out with a whole range of iPad apps for designing and retouching the photos, etc. So these kind of milestones, they seem to be not so long time ago, but still right now, in other ways, three years is a long time. So I'm from Tieto. Tieto is is the biggest Nordic IT company, providing solutions and service design for both public and private sector. And a couple of years ago, Tieto also appointed artificial intelligence bot to the board of management of data area leadership. So that was actually what Tieto did. So we have in one of our business areas, board of managers has a bot whose name is Alicia T. So basically, this bot has an email address in my Outlook. Unfortunately, Alicia T is always busy when I want to chat in the link with her or in the Skype business. But anyway, it's already going on. But I'm not going to talk today how to program artificial intelligence or more chatbots. I'm going to talk about how we can use artificial intelligence better in design. So probably you have heard it for 2017 as well, that 2018 will be the year of artificial intelligence. You got smart speakers like smart cars listening to, Amazon shop opened where you can just walk in and out with the groceries, and hundreds of cameras are watching your every movement and registering and creating artificial intelligence of the activity. So yeah, this hype goes on. And of course, you have really affordable, nicely designed smart speakers, like from low range to with a great bass and sound quality from Google, and also from Amazon. You can buy right now for $39. You can buy the smallest Echo Dot, for example. But still, how they are doing right now?
Cuckoo! What is raining today? Water.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it answered. It said yeah.
You say yeah.
Yeah, it's her.
Oh my God. Is a woman?
Yeah.
I'm glad to meet
What
you.
is this thing?
Hello, Cuckoo.
Hey, you're okay.
That's something from the
Google.
alphabets.
You have to say hey Google or okay.
Hey, Google. Okay, Google.
What's the
There you go.
weather?
Yeah.
What's the weather? Ask.
What the weather? You want to know what is the weather
Tomorrow.
tomorrow?
In Flagler Beach tomorrow, there will be showers with a high of 65 and a low of 56.
With this, is a mystery.
Watch it there.
I'm scared. I'm scared. It's a mystery. Oh my gosh. No.
Ask Google to play an Italian song.
Cuckoo. Hi, Cuckoo.
You have to say hey or okay.
Hey, okay.
Google.
Tomorrow in London, it'll be sunny with a high of 41 and a low of 30.
Hold it for a moment, eh?
It's the temperature in London.
Mama, ask her to play your favorite song.
Play your favorite song.
Cuckoo. Cuckoo.
Yeah, you're cuckoo, all right.
Cuckoo. Play a song for me. Piemontesina bella.
You have to say.
Addio dei giorni passati. Addio.
So, okay, you don't have to tap it first, but to wake it up, you have to either say, hey, Google, or okay,
Hey, Google. Okay, Google.
Play an Italian song.
and then it'll
Play an
light.
Italian
So
song.
it has to light up after you say that, otherwise it didn't hear you correctly.
Yes.
Io no è un salame perché mia capisci cosa dici? I get it!
You're stupid, because I can understand everything I'm saying to you.
Hello, cuckoo.
Hey or okay?
Okay,
Google.
do it.
Has somebody here tried to talk to the speaker for iPhone or Android? Raise your hands. So did you get sometimes this kind of experience? Raise your hands if, okay, quite many hands. So it's going on, it's quite huge. They are getting better, voice recognitions, and you can talk to, basically talk to interface and have, for example, like to-do lists. So when driving in the car, you can press the button and remind me that I have to buy some milk at 5 o'clock, put a reminder or put some calendar meeting or reschedule a calendar meeting. So this is already going on. This is not a flawless, but this is what it is, and it's growing rapidly. And another part is like chatbot versus graphic user interface. So talking to the user interface is, of course, increasing trend. So user interface might be a speaker. So different user groups prefer different interfaces. Some service may have different interfaces. For example, the H&M e-shop, so you can shop on the website, or you can shop in the chatbot Kik app, so to say. So it's like for different user groups, you have different interfaces for the same service. So that's how it's done right now currently. And of course, now we have to decide, like what Indrek is also probably going to explain today more deeper, like should we use more like voice, or should we use more like chat, like typing in the Facebook Messenger or something like that. So basically you have the same input to the voice as, and you have to train the chatbot. So basically what I can say that today you have a lot of web forms, what you are filling. So if you are buying something from the Amazon or eBay or doing some application to Estonian social security services or something else, you have web forms in the use. But basically you can change these web forms to the conversational user interface. And one of these examples recently was Clinic 32 dentist site, which was made by the Taivas agency. So they had the possibility of regular navigation on the website, or those who prefer the conversational user interface can use this kind of selection-based chatting to the user interface. But you cannot type in, so you just make selections. It's like changing usual forms to this kind of more conversational user interface. And of course, additional API application programming interface needed for the speech. So if you can get the speech in a good quality inside, so basically then you can connect this conversational user interface to this voice chat. So some tools, of course, which will be one of these is today Chat Fuel, which is widely, and there are like dozens of tools from which you can build like a Facebook chatbot, and it's really about the training. So next up, I'm going to talk about the case study, what Tieto did. So it was summer. There's a Estonian IT and telecommunications agency, ITL. They said that they have this kind of industry 4.0, like 4.0 area, but they don't have any identity for that. And they needed like this identity was needed like in a week or like super fast. And we knew that there were some kind of tools available which might help you when designing some kind of artificial intelligence assistance. And we looked around and tested quickly some tools and said, okay, let's do it. Let's give directions to artificial intelligence first, and let's give the results of these directions to the customer, and customer chooses and decides, and then let's see what happens. So I'm going to shortly talk about what I did with this project and how it came out. So, firstly, there was a software which was called LogoJoy, and I gave this kind of creative directions to this Logojoy just to see what comes out of it. So immediately, in a couple of seconds, I got the first identities, like typography, logos, colors, like everything available. So you can think about it that usually this kind of basic identity maybe costs, I don't know, like from 1,500 euros to 20,000 euros, depends how you are doing this identity. But for the basic, like you make a new coffee shop or something like that, then you need basically colors, typo, like typography and some basics basically. So I gave the creative directions, and in a few minutes, more than 100 different designs were created. And I just like scrolled through them and just decided, okay, from which I'm going to present to the customer. And immediately these designs were like on the clothes or whatever objects you have design on. So the customer got this, and they saw that I said that, okay, this first round is made with artificial intelligence. Choose. Would you like something from here? We can go on designing even further. And the customer made a decision. So on the main, and we updated the design directions after that customer made the decision. And after that, we improved the design. For example, we a little bit changed the colors, tone of the color. We changed the font, basically, which from the design, but the chat artificial intelligence came out, and this was this kind of really basic. But on top of that, we created other identity assets like presentation templates, because conference was coming up in weeks, exhibition graphics, video resources, web resources. So everything was created immediately after that. So this was super fast, super agile. And as a summary, my conclusion of this experience is that using the artificial intelligence for the first stages of the design, where you have to, but typically in designing I'm doing really different types of design of the same context to show to the customer, and I'm usually saying, what I suggest, and I'm leaving this the last one usually. But in that case, I asked artificial intelligence to do the first work for me, and then I presented this to the customer. So it helps to create the designs much faster than we are used to. So basically, without this artificial intelligence usage, I was planning to spend myself at least 20 hours on building this identity and showing examples. But when using this, I actually saved almost all of this 20 hours. I think only a few hours I used to create this kind of basic identity. So, and the service there are different services right now already available, which uses artificial intelligence to create the identity. So one was the Logojoy, which we were using. And I was thinking that I will just give you a demo. So, demo time. Do you know this company? Raise your hands. So there is a possibility that the identity of this company could be refreshed, because I remember the same identity from 90s when I walked by their bookstore in Liivalaia Street, where I was living. So I went to their website to see that how much they have upgraded. So in that sense, let's create a new identity for this web page. A demo time. So I will see how can I use it with my one hand. Okay, name of the company. There. Now I'm thinking which directions would I go more, this kind of like rave or elegance. So I'm choosing probably something which is more like elegance. So I'm seeing like maybe this looks okay. I have to pick 5 things which are more or less closer to elegance. So this is maybe elegance. Maybe this one. Maybe this one. maybe this one, maybe looks elegant. And nah, no. Okay, maybe this one looks elegant. So I have this kind of, the artificial intelligence asked like 5 examples of which this kind of general language I would like to go. So I will continue. And I will now decide about the colors. So I was thinking that to use maybe with the teal for the TEA, new brand. Yeah, so we are doing it right now, live. So company name, slogan. I'm not sure about the slogan right now. It's always super complicated. I talked before the event today that you have to be careful with the slogans, with content creation. So just keep it simple, stupid. So icons. So I have a cloud of icons. So I'm just thinking, okay, this company they had the publishing business and they had consulting and training. So I will do something with the training. Training. Okay, I have one icon for the training. Some consulting, something like. So yeah, maybe this one. And then something with business. Millions of small graphics, but let's see something with business. Maybe this suitcase, I'm not really sure. Tie maybe. And publishing books. They are doing books. Okay. Books. So maybe. I don't know. Let's take some book. Looks like a book. So I took like 5. There is like millions of icons from which you can choose from, and I just took a couple of them. And just now it creates identity. Alrighty. So this is what I have. Maybe something looks, I was searching for the elegance, maybe something looks like elegant. I'm not sure. I don't know, maybe this is elegant, okay. So this is my elegant logo. So I'm just checking how it looks on the shirts, business cards, some web application preview already. This I can send it to customer like in Snap options. Outdoor, yeah. TEA consulting, so this kind of business identity. Looks nice, yeah? So let's take it. Can you hold it for a second?
Yeah.
So let's take a screenshot. Okay, I took a screenshot of this logo. Actually, I can now, next step, I can send different types of logos to the customer as a link, like sharing. They can decide, or I can go myself and present. So I took a screenshot of this logo because I don't need to buy the assets yet. But this doesn't cost much. All the assets, all the vector graphics from this, you will get all the colors, brand book you will get for 59 euros, something like that, compared to 1,500 until 20,000 euros to usual identity basic design. So I have this logo. So let's see, let's roll on. I have a logo, it's here, okay. So this was my first experiment to improve the TEA logo in some ways, so to make it a little bit modern. And you can immediately take this input to create some kind of web page or mobile page quite immediately. And let's make another demo of this one as well. So I use Wix, Artificial Design Intelligence. There are also other services. I'm really waiting when Estonian company Vogue will come up also with that one. So it's not there yet, but and also you have Squarespace and other services. But let's try with the Wix. So it's also has artificial design intelligence. So let's make new TIA website on the Wix. So heading to the wix.com. So as I said, there are quite many websites already where you can do this kind of stuff I'm going to show right now. So let's create a new website. And this website will be a business website. And they are talking that there is artificial design intelligence which can help me. So let's give him a chance. So consulting, yeah, looks nice. So let's say financial, probably consulting. No, not agriculture. So let's get then. Okay, financial consultant. Next. I need to sell something online. I need a blog. I need subscribers. Also, yeah. Then I can. What is the name of your website business? TIA. Okay. Okay, it's in Tallinn. Next. Let's see. Skip. So let's add a logo. I made a logo in LogoJoy moments ago. Next. So probably I will go with this, maybe, I don't know this one. No, so would you like to create the color palette from my logo? Okay, great. Okay, some grayish, let's use. It's spoiling. Blog, headers. Services, testimonials, contacts, slider. Alrighty, we got our website. So let's have a preview. So I don't know if TIA has right now recent this one. So if TIA has right now something like that, okay, this one, yeah. So something like that, it's live in 2018 right now as we are talking, and there is a really easy way to move to something like this. And you have, you can see how it looks in the mobile. So there is mobile. Menu, how is my menu? Home, yes. Logo, testimonials, tra-la-la. Shop, yeah, shop books, shop consulting. So this is how I do it. And this is what is possible. So summarizing this demo, that when you have when your computer doesn't crash like mine, and you have like 10 minutes, then you can really create this identity and website in, I don't know, less than 15 minutes. So some words about the future. So I have searched really and browsed around that what will be the future, and what does it bring with using artificial intelligence in my daily design tasks to eliminate some kind of repetitive work, which I'm doing a lot, unfortunately, today, to automatize it and help me more. And actually, the only thing I found out which has some kind of potential on top of what I was showing today already is Adobe Sensei. So let's have a quick look. So Adobe Sensei is a creative assistant, which basically like Siri for Adobe or Google Alexa for Adobe. It has computational creativity. Probably it has it's learning continually, and it has also deep understanding of creative and design domain. So that's what we're saying. And I will give you 3 short videos about the demos of the Sensei, because I wanted to have the hands-on today myself, but I don't have yet Photoshop available with this Sensei assistant, so I have to rely on the few videos. So let's see.
As a fellow at Adobe, I get to work on our future technology, and today I'm really excited to share with you 3 of my personal favorites from our labs. I'm convinced that all 3 of those have great potential to accelerate your creativity using Sensei. So let's jump in and look at the first one. The first one is what I call natural interaction. So let me orient you a little bit what you see on my screen. What you see on my screen is a prototype version of Photoshop, and it looks very similar to what you're used to, but there is one little detail on the top right that you see here, this blue dot. And this blue dot gives me access to the Sensei surface. So as soon as I open that up, we get to see a little bit what's going on behind the scenes, what Sensei is thinking as I'm working away here. It also gives me access to the creative assistant, but I'll talk about this a little bit later. So let's assume I need to create a splash screen for an iPad app. And what I have is a sketch. And I have a sketch of what that should look like. And as I drag and drop this into, keep your eyes a little bit to the top right and see what's happening under the surface. So I'll move it over here and I'll drop it. And you see that as soon as I drop it, Sensei kind of does the same thing that we humans do. We look at this picture, we sort of analyze, his neurons are firing, we get the concept, we understand that there is a woman on here, there's a spaceship, there is some stars and planets and so forth. And exactly like that, Sensei does the same thing. And this is really important, so let me quickly show you what that looks like. So what Sensei extracted without me doing anything is just understanding that these are some objects that it found here. It read my handwriting, it has women, stars, etc., spaces, spaceship. It knows that this is a galactical theme that I'm going after here. So what's really important now is obviously this is a very natural way to interact with Sensei, but let's try one more thing. What is more natural than actually speaking to this? So let's quickly click on our creative assistant here, and let's see if it can do some work for us. Find some images based on my sketch. And you see, just like that, Sensei went through all my assets that I have here, tagged this slightly different through Adobe Stock, and found a lot of assets that may be useful for my creative journey right from here. If you think about it, a sketch.
So that was the step 1. Another part of this Adobe Sensei artificial intelligence will be content intelligence. So ability to search and extract meaning from the wide range of the assets, and also anticipating the next tool and the next asset. So this is what they call experience intelligence.
Some words, it doesn't get more natural than this. The second concept that I want to introduce you to is something that we call content intelligence. And content intelligence is where Sensei helps me to run through hundreds of thousands, hundreds of millions of images and helps me find the right one. So we see that on the right-hand side, based on that galactical theme that we had in our sketch, Sensei selected a background from stock that I kind of like. It's kind of contextual, but I'm not 100% sure it's exactly what I'm looking for my creation. So I'll click right here to send the context of Sensei to that asset right here, and let's see what Sensei can do to help me with this. I can click on the full screen mode right here and see all the information that Sensei has aggregated about that image. Now we see that it knows that there's stars on it, there's galaxies on it, it's a space, and obviously I can filter through the hundreds of millions of images that we have in a completely natural way. So I can take the vibrance, for example, down, and we saw that in an earlier demo today, and that's super useful. But at the same time, Sensei understands the concept, so it understands that there are stars, and stars have size and density. And so I can quickly say, I want something that has less stars on it and has the density a little bit down, maybe the size a notch down, and I really land with a background that I like for my creation. So I quickly double-click that, add it to my canvas right here. So this is super simple and shows you how we can deal with millions of curated assets that we have in stock. But what about the images that I have myself? The images that came back from a photo shoot, the tens of thousands of images that all look exactly the same way. So you see that I have an image of a model right here, of the actor right here. I'm going to drag that in. And now keep in mind, and this is something that I've done so many times myself, and I'm going back to the full screen mode in the meantime. Keep in mind those tens of thousands of images that come back from the photo shoot. Scrolling through them gets you cross-eyed just looking at them. But if somebody now comes back to you and says, yeah, I like this image, but I want her to look to the right, that's the moment in time where you really lose it and you realize I have to go through these 10,000 photos again to do that. Now, not with the help of Sensei. So I'll quickly see that I have features that I get extracted here. Of course, very different from the one that I had on the Galaxy. So I see a face here. I see that the face has different vectors. It, for example, has a left and a right dimension. Like, am I looking to the left? Am I looking to the right? That's super interesting. So watch this. This is actually amazing. This is one of my favorite pieces of this demo. So I select left and right, and as soon as I click on this, it zooms in on the image, and I can just move the slider to move through everything just with the orientation of left and right on this particular image. So now if my creative director says, well, I like one where she looks a little bit to the right, maybe this one right here. Let me quickly pick this one. And you see it automatically zooms out again and gives me the full picture. And I can just double click this and add this to my canvas. And now this is not where the content intelligence stops. The content intelligence actually goes a lot further into the asset, and Sensei can distinguish between the foreground and the background. And as you guys all know, masking this hair in the background would be a real piece of work, to say it nicely. So I'll just quickly click on this, and Sensei automatically masks this for me, and I can move this in place.
And to introduce the last piece of this Adobe Sensei, the previous one was the content intelligence, the last one was design intelligence. And I had a discussion like many times that can artificial intelligence be creative? Can artificial intelligence dream? Or can artificial intelligence think out of the box? So this design intelligence is something what streams towards this way, but in the conclusions, let's talk about it. So it deeply understands the language and creativity of the design, suggests alternative designs, what you will see, and remembers the path of design decisions. So this is super cool, I guess.
So now I generally like where this is going, but I need a spaceship, I need a robot, I need a planet, and so forth. And the one thing that I told myself, I'm not actually going to show you 12,000 creative geniuses how I use Photoshop, because that would be very, very demoralizing for myself. So I have something prepared. So this is the splash screen. I kind of like it, and it really takes me to the third phase of my demo, through the third concept that I'd like to share with you. It's a concept that I call design intelligence, and it shows that Sensei can learn from my personal styles, from things that I do, from styles that I develop. And you see that a couple of smart templates that have been automatically created by Sensei are available for me here. I can bring that up, I can select some text for a text treatment right here, and I'll type in the last horizon right here, and I get to see some of the treatments that I've used in the past on similar projects without doing anything. I kind of like that. I'll double click it and add it right again to the canvas. But design intelligence, of course, goes much further, and this takes me outside of Photoshop into XD. So let's say we have our full app that we created here in XD, and now one of the most tedious jobs that all of you who have done responsive know. Now somebody says, well, but we need this app on the iPhone, right? So let's see what our creative agent can do now with this layout that we have here, and how the creative assistant can help me with this. So let's click on here and let's try to give it some instructions. Create iPhone 8 layouts. And you see automatically there are some layouts that are automatically created, relayouted, reflowed, everything that I had. And as the human, of course, I get to choose which ones I like. And of course, these are not finished. And obviously, we can refine them as we go along. But I can drag and drop them right into here. And as soon as I do that, of course, because they're derived from the original iPad app, Sensei went ahead and wired the entire thing up directly for me, which saves me a lot of work. So I have one last thing. Let's go back to Photoshop. Abe talked a lot about the creative graph. And the creative graph, think of it as a way of Sensei keeping track of every creative decision that I'm making throughout the process of creating this wonderful asset. Now, we came up with a very simplified visualization for that, and we want to show you what it looks like and how it works. So I can bring up all the graph of my creative decisions that led to this asset right here. Now, what's really interesting is, very often at the end of the creative process, I personally go back and think, well, what would have happened if I would have gone down a different route? So the creative graph doesn't just give you a recording of that, but it also lets you interact with things as we go along. Remember that face decision we made, where we said she should look a little bit more to the right? What would have happened if she looked a little bit more straight up into the camera? And you saw maybe the slider came back here, and I can just revisit that, and Sensei automatically recreates something for me. So let's go a little bit further up. Let's go higher up and say, you remember the initial sketch, right? And it had one particular character on it, and we want to say, what would have happened if we had a different cast member, if we had a different character in this thing? And of course, I could go back in and drag and drop a new sketch and see what would have happened. But as simple as I click here, I can create something with a different character right here, and just click it and see what Sensei comes up with, and directly create the artboard from here so I can go in and manipulate that. So these are just a few of the avenues that we're exploring with Sensei to keep up with the speed of your creativity. Thank you. Innovation that lets you focus on the creative work you love without the technology getting into your way. That's what we're striving for. Thank you so much for inspiring us.
So, I'm a user experience designer. Yes, I was invited to talk how I can use artificial intelligence today in my design work and to assist me. But my main focus is on the user experience. So for me, user experience is really like creating great experiences. And the next generation of user interface, first of all, one focus will be this on the zero user interface. So we have new interaction patterns, we have new language, we have a tapping touch or sound ambience signature. So we have a lot of new interfaces coming up which we are striving to, and this picture shows actually that how long way we have come to get off the computers. Like in the beginning I was citating Don Norman, that get this computer out of my way, get this smart speaker out of my way, I just need to do my job. So this kind of interfaces are coming up. And on top of that, another thing which will be important is anticipatory design. So the right features at the right moment, thinking ahead in the name of the user. So this will be focus. And I think one of really like important part of this experience is to increase even more possibilities and solutions in inclusive design to help the people with disabilities or This can be people in the wheelchair or a guy with a small child which needs access, or so this is anticipatory design helps to do it. And user experience design, my field. So what's going on in the future? We still have to test the smart speakers. We still have to test the chatbots. We still have to test the user interfaces with the real users before final coding. So that's how we do it. And what's the benefit of user experience design in IT development? So for me, it's like insurance before the programming. So when you program something, it's quite expensive. How many agree? Yeah, many. So it's better to test prototypes before the programming. And I think this is one of the key pillars of the user experience. To conclude, so can the artificial intelligence replace creativity? Like I said, that the person can dream, person can be creative, connect these not so obvious things together, we come up with the new ideas. So can artificial intelligence do it now? I'm not sure, I'm not really sure. So this is for the humans, but what artificial intelligence in the design can actually do is to help reduce the waste of waste on these repetitive tasks, or like multiplying your work, or which you are doing manually right now. So I think we should get a grasp of AI with doing this thing. You agree? Yeah, let's roll. So questions? Thank you. Thank you.